we know that humans have consciousness, and like I said, I think that is the master conductor of this beautiful orchestra that's inside of us. In in your opinion, do plants have consciousness?
Where is consciousness not? If,
Exactly.
I mean, as I understand it, the foundation of reality is consciousness. That's what came first.
Yes.
That's God. If God is all that is, God is love, God is consciousness. That is the divine spirit, is the foundational thing. And then out of that, the more and more gross vibrations, we get down to the physical plane. But at the essence of it all is consciousness, as I understand it. Um,
So then
and
is
this
the
is
meter
like,
measuring consciousness?
um, we are built with these amazing, we carry around with us these amazing meters of perception. Have you heard of it? It's called a body, right? There's this thing, like, people make the mistake of um thinking that they are the body. I'm pretty sure that you are the spirit and the body is the thing you're carrying around with you. And that body can perceive on many, many levels. And that gut, that heart, those that the logic, those different centers of knowing that we have within us resonate. When you have a feeling, a deep knowing, a deep experience, that is your consciousness meter. That is your sentience meter. That is your that intuition. We're hardwired with it. It is actually a instrument of vibrational discernment of perception that we're carrying around with us, and it's multidimensional. It's not just in the physical plane, right? We are operating all day long on multiple dimensions, and that we're not taught about that in our Western rational culture. We're taught about everything is a thing. um, and I think, and in actual fact, if you scratch the surface, most people will say that there's actually a whole bunch going on inside. There's a whole bunch of things deeper within that we all experience, we don't really talk about because there's not a language for it, or it's not safe. But I think the coherence consciousness meter is the thing we're carrying around with us every day. And this little ray gun gizmo thing, as a bait and switch shiny object, there to capture people's attention and direct a conversation back to this deeper remembering that we already have and are all that we ever need. It's just we need to stop looking outside of us for answers and start looking within. Um, that's how
See,
I'd say it.
I told you love this guy, Cena.
I know. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like you're my instant soulmate here. I'm like, he sounds like me.
Yeah, yeah.
We've all got our
Well,
issues. Yeah.
you, Cena, you broached this. We dug very deep on that podcast about the actual light emanation from at the molecular level,
Yeah.
uh, in metabolism, in in cellular division, in all these things. And so when we look at all of these relationships, as Dan, I love your musical analogies here. We look at all of these relationships. I mean, think about my mitochondria in my cell. All right, that resonant relationship is like you know a, a clarinet and an oboe harmonizing in an orchestra.
Yeah.
And if dis-ease, which you like to say, Cena, dis-ease, in other words, you're out of ease, you're out of harmony, um,
Dissonance. Yeah.
dissonance. Yeah, yeah. It actually creates. I think it creates a fundamental hopefulness in the human spirit to realize to view our internal relationships that way regarding dis-ease, dissonance. That if I can bring this orchestra back into harmony, then I mean, think of how we're just the language that we're using around this compared to, well, I've got cancer, or
Right.
I've got lupus, I've got this, I've got that. Um,
Which
think
is
about
then the consciousness, which is really, really powerful.
Yeah.
projecting on itself that something is wrong. Like if you
Right.
say I've got cancer, I mean, your consciousness is really powerful.
Yeah.
That's a You're
Right.
projecting that on yourself, right? So I mean, this is, oh God, it's so powerful, the framing and the understanding and the way we look at all this stuff.
Yeah.
But
Which brings up, the whole idea of fear and anxiety. I mean,
yeah,
look at COVID and everyday
yeah,
Fauci. You flip on the radio in the car, and it's
yep,
giving you how many people in your state died of COVID yesterday. How many? I mean, it was like a daily, like a ticker.
yep.
Here's the number of cases, and I mean, we we were completely bathed and immersed in this fear and paranoia, and man, it's almost impossible.
Which we then, resonated.
Yeah,
We
right,
took it in with our minds, with our consciousnesses, and we felt it, and then we vibrated it, and we propagated it out into the world.
right,
And this is how it works is we are these vibrating liquid crystals. Whatever the consciousness, the idea, the feelings are that we're holding, we're literally vibrating out, we're propagating out into the field around us. And so, this is the power of propaganda, and the the propaganda ministry is that if you can propagate these incoherent thoughts into people, they will then propagate them out into the world around. And so it's a really a deep conversation about how the system works and how brilliantly we can be manipulated and controlled. And it is through these vibrations, right? It's not through logic. It's
right,
this field. And if someone is propagating this field of fear and you're in their presence, if you're not careful, you'll resonate with that. And then you'll replicate that and you'll pass it on. And, if you can propagate dissonance, you can
mm,
also propagate coherence. If that the point is about this, the power of consciousness is we need to take responsibility for the stories we're telling, for the feelings we're having. And, I think the more we can ground our form in, substance that gives us the inherent coherence, the more readily we can tune into those higher octaves rather than the lower incoherences. So, yeah, that's why I call it a spiritual covert op. This is really about raising consciousness and grounding our divine natures in our day-to-day lives and our human culture.
Friends, want to dive deeper into our thought-provoking conversations? Become part of the Beyond Labels family today by joining below. For any gift amount, you'll get access to the full uncut episodes.
Every contribution, whether big or small, keeps this podcast going.
So join us and expand your Beyond Labels experience. Thank you.